All right, guys, welcome and thank you for joining me for tonight's event. I haven't done a full presentation in so long, and I was just like, it's been about time that I do a presentation because this is what was the catalyst that just totally changed my life 9 years ago. This information right here, and it put me on the path that I am currently on. So my name is Michelle Fletcher. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a former IT professional. But for the past 9 years, I have been living in passion and purpose and been able to help inspire healthy living amongst my friends and family and even people I don't know all around the world. And it has just truly transformed me and my family's life. And I feel that this information is necessary now more than ever, and I'm excited to share it with you. So I'm going to share my screen. Start this presentation. Okay, so tonight I am going to move fairly quickly because I do want to value your time, but this information is so vital that I'm just like, there's no way I can have a talk and not talk about this. And then afterwards, I am going to turn it over to Joy, and she's going to share her story with us. And then we're going to do a little Q&A. If there's anyone in here that has any questions, you can throw that in the chat. But so we're going to get moving right along. And I feel just like this picture, like excited about everything that's going on. Like 2020 has been quite the year, but I'm just so grateful for my health and, just seeing your faces on here that you're healthy and finding ways and simple ways to stay healthier. So, and Juice Plus is the reason for so much of this. So here are the statistics I heard 9 years ago that totally opened my eyes to a lot of things that are going on. The fact that, we're one of the healthiest countries in the world, but unfortunately we're one of we're one of the richest countries in the world, but we're also one of the unhealthiest countries. You see these statistics: 1 in 4 will die of heart disease, 1 in 2 women will have, and 1 in 3 men will have cancer, 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 5 children is obese. And I will share that my family is plagued with chronic diseases, and I always thought I was destined to get them. But there's going to be some hope that you hear within this talk. So we see that our children are more harmed by poor diet than exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. It's crazy. And then we also have the fact that there's toxins out there. There's toxins everywhere. There's toxins in the water, the food that we're eating, and things that we're putting on our skin. Just you name it is out there. And so our bodies are just inundated with so much between, our environment and the food and so many other things. We're just getting slammed. And then it doesn't help that the quality of our food is decreasing. Now think about our grandparents. They were probably eating food that was a lot more nutritious than what we're eating today. We see here that 50% of Americans are eating processed food, and processed food is full of all these things: GMOs, preservatives, trans fats, pesticides, growth hormones. And I'm going to share, why that is. Like, why is it that broccoli could lose 50 to 80% of key nutrients before you purchase it? It's just insanity that's going on right now. So what can we do to be healthier? And I love this little slide here because exercise was my go-to on being healthy. I thought fitness was the way to help break the cycle of disease in my family and just to stay healthy. But, it takes several things. So getting at least 6 to 7 to 8 hours of sleep, which I have been able to do thanks to COVID-19. Managing stress, however you find a way to do that, finding that quiet time to just release. Drinking water. I realize how important it is for us to drink half our body weight in ounces. Super important. If you're someone who's very active, you need to be drinking even more. And then using safer products around the home or outside of the home, just using things that are not causing your body to be under more stress. And then eating real food. So that is something we're going to focus on for the next few minutes, is why it's so important for us to eat more real food. And so our focus is going to be on fruits and vegetables. And even the experts agree that most diseases are preventable with good nutrition. So I love this slide right here because it really gives you that visual of oxidative stress and antioxidants. So oxidative stress is what causes aging and disease, and none of us want that, right? We want to slowly age and we don't want to have disease. But then we see here that antioxidants that are found in fruits and vegetables protect the cells from oxidative stress. So this lemon is actually helping to protect that apple from slowing down that aging process after it's been cut. So I don't know who here doesn't want that, but I know for sure that was like, ding, 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 how can I get more of this? And so I love this slide. The news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you, it's that they're so good for you that they could save your life. And this was like published in Time Magazine back in 2003. This was back way before kale was actually being eaten, but it was used on like the shelves of the grocery store. I know when I first learned about kale, it was being used as decoration in the grocery store. And I'm just like, what? Now we know it's so much better than being a display. So here we know we need 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Who in the world is able to do that consistently every day? If you are, you're amazing. But this was like incredible to me because I knew I wasn't getting near that on a daily basis. I thought I was healthy, I was working out, doing all the things, but didn't cut close. Now, if you're someone on here and you're an athlete, you need even more. You should be getting at least 16 to 18 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And I mean, you're going to be just like a horse eating it out of a trough. That's how much fruits and vegetables. So why so many? The reason is because nowadays they are picking produce before it's been allowed to vine ripen. And we know that the majority of the nutrition is gathered right at the vine ripening process. So if we don't have that, we're already losing the nutrition in that way. And then we know that our produce is being transported either from another country or from across the country. So within that transportation stage, it's losing even more nutrients. And then we just know that 90% of Americans aren't eating enough servings of fruits and vegetables. And they include things like ketchup as a vegetable, which is just insanity. And then we know we don't get enough of the rainbow. I was guilty of eating the same, probably handful of fruits and vegetables that I knew I was comfortable with eating and just was like my go-to fruits and vegetables. Well, we should be eating the full rainbow, the berries, the citruses, all the colors. There's so many out there because they all have different benefits. And so the multivitamin versus the whole food. I grew up taking a multivitamin, guys. My mom was like, you do not eat very well. You need to eat, you need a vitamin. And so most of my life I took vitamins thinking that I was helping to bridge the gaps in my diet. Didn't even come close. This is what really got me. So man has been able to replicate about 30 plus vitamins and minerals, whereas if you were actually eating an apple, you're getting over 10,000 phytonutrients. So these are all these things that are working in synergy in your body, and your body knows what to do with, and it's going to go work in the right places in your body, because guess what? The medicine is in the food that we're eating, and especially in the fruits and vegetables. The medicines are in there. So we see that 70% of Americans are trying to fill gaps with a multivitamin. I was one of those people. I was that person. A multivitamin only has a few isolated vitamins. It can't even scratch the surface of what is in real food. And then an apple, I mentioned already, has over 10,000 phytonutrients. And the research even shows that isolated vitamins may do more harm than good. And if you want to look more into that, you can look up the Annuals of the Internal Medicine from December 2013. That was a huge, like, I remember when that came out back in 2013, that was huge because they were showing that people were actually dying that were taking multivitamins. So over time, it wasn't as safe as they thought it was. So what I love about our community is that there's so many resources. There's that one-on-one support. So some of you on here have been feeling that support from us for some time now. We have live events. Well, we were having live events, but we have just pivoted nicely into online events and just getting really creative in how to share. We also have specialists that do talks. I know we had an expert speaking at 8 o'clock tonight, and on oxidative stress especially. But we have all kind of resources. We have ebooks and cookbooks and guides for children and Facebook groups to help support you, and we just all rally together, and it's just incredible. I mean, I feel like this community has really helped me through this time where we're so distant from each other. It's helped me to stay connected. You know, I'm learning all kind of tips and tricks from my buddies in the business that are just doing all kinds of things to stay healthy. It's amazing. And I'm growing my own food, which is really cool too, because that gives you a peace of mind. I tell you, there's some therapy that goes with gardening. And so we have all kinds of events, like I mentioned, and here are some of them. So we're having a Tower to Table live cooking event this upcoming Tuesday at 7, and then at 8:30 and 10 p.m. this Tuesday, we're having a Fueling for Fitness event. And then in August, we're having a Veterans Nutrition Initiative. So if you're interested in any of these events, you can get back to the person who invited you on here, or get back to me and I can share any of these flyers with you. And so here's my story. And, you know, it's been 9 years now, and the story has progressed over time. But 9 years ago, I knew I was in a family that suffers from chronic disease. My dad has diabetes. He's insulin dependent. He had cancer. I attended many funerals for my aunts and uncles who either passed away from cancer or dementia or all these various diseases. And I always just thought, you know what, I'm destined to get something. I'm destined to follow in their footsteps. And so 9 years ago, I was that person in my family that thought maybe fitness can do, like working out could do something for me to keep me healthy. And I counted calories, like thought that would help. But then I was introduced to Juice Plus, and the information I learned, which I just shared with you shortly, a while ago, it blew my mind. I was just like, what are you telling me? Like, this whole time I've been doing all these things, but they weren't all the right things. It's like I hadn't completed the full picture. And so it just made sense to hear of an easy way to add this nutrition into me and my family's diet, because at the time I was a mom with super young kids that I couldn't get to eat very well. And I was just like frustrated, like, how do I do this? How do I force a kid to eat something they don't want to eat, and they're constantly sick, and it's just one thing after the next. And so we introduced this nutrition into our diets, and my son, who was 1 at the time, significant difference in what happened to him in 2 months. He had always been more on the sick side, probably sick 3 weeks out of a month most times, and he was someone who would refuse to eat a vegetable. And within 2 months of starting on Juice Plus, which I'm going to share with you in a minute, he began to pick up broccoli and eat it, and then the next day cabbage. And that was just amazing to see that happen, like all on his own. And they call that metabolic reprogramming, where now he was getting that nutrition from these concentrated fruit gummies that were packed full of plant sources. And he started to crave those things and pick them up all on his own, which is incredible to see in a 14-month-old child. And so he was the first one that I started to notice those changes. But with me, I had always been into fitness. And I noticed, even though I had been someone who was like the captain of my soccer team in high school, I was very much into working out in college. That was my stress relief. I noticed my fitness levels just go through the roof. I had more endurance and more stamina in my 30s than I did in my 20s. It probably felt like I was back in high school. And then my recovery times after workouts were just like amazing. A huge reduction in my recovery times. And so just throughout my entire family, we all started to notice all these different changes. And it was just like, wow, this is incredible. Never expected it. Just thought, hey, I wanted to fill those gaps. But the results, or some of the results of filling those gaps, were just incredible to see happen within my family. And so what is Juice Plus? It is the added nutrition of over 30 fruits and vegetables and berries to your diet. The whole foods are harvested at the peak of ripeness so that the nutrition is intact. So remember, I said earlier, they pick the fruits and vegetables that we're getting from the grocery store before they're allowed to vine ripen. In Juice Plus, everything is vine ripened. So you're already getting a boost of nutrition in there. And then the produce is actually pulverized. It's not juiced. It's actually contains some of the fiber, which is great, and dried into powders at low temperatures, so it preserves the majority of the nutrition. And then they're put into capsules or delicious chewables. My kids are still eating the chewables 9 years later. I know I probably need to move them to capsules, but I enjoy the chewables too, so I don't blame them. And then we also included a plant-based omega a few years ago that goes directly to what the fish eat instead of the fish. Now, mind you, I grew up with my mom lining us up as kids to take a spoonful of cod liver oil. Do you know how happy I was to see a plant-based omega that didn't have a fishy taste? Oh my gosh. So here's just an eyeful of what you get in Juice Plus. All of these fruits and vegetables, guys, can you imagine if you were adding this into your diet, how you would feel? I had no idea how good I would feel. I'm like gonna be 44 next month. And I think back and I'm like, man, when I was in my 20s, I needed a nap when it was in the afternoon after lunch, I needed a nap. Now I'm in my 40s with 2 kids, whole different lifestyle. Life is busier and crazier than ever. And I go all day, no need for a nap. I'm just like the Energizer Bunny. So, that just feels good to reflect back on where I used to be and where I am now, and knowing that I feel better. And even last week, I went and got my eyes checked. And for the past 5 years, my eyes have been improving. Every year I've gone to the eye doctor. And I'm just like, this is amazing. My prescription this year is actually better than before I was wearing glasses in high school. And I'm just like, this is incredible. So you never know what nutrition is going to do in your body when you're getting concentrated nutrition like this. But let me tell you, it's doing good things. So take a look at all this good stuff, because that is what you would get if you decided to take Juice Plus. And then here's the omegas that I mentioned earlier, which are really great for the heart, the brain, the joints, skin, and eyes. And it's all plant-based. And it went straight to what the fish eat, which is the algae. But then they also added some other really nutritious forms of omegas from other plant sources like pomegranate seed, buckthorn berry, raspberry seed, safflower seed. I mean, just amazing that they thought to do this so that you're getting the full spectrum of omegas, not just omega-3 or omega-6. You're getting all of them because your body needs it. So it's been a great addition, and it might account to the fact that now my eyes are a little bit better because I've been using this now for the past 3 years. And now here's the shakes. This has to be one of my family's favorites because every day my daughter, who can make her own shake, wants me to make her a shake, but it's all vegan. My kids are athletes. So this is like a really good pre or post workout shake. And it has fiber, which is great for our gut. It has protein and is dairy-free, low glycemic. Like my dad drinks this shake. My dad is insulin dependent. And I'm just like, no, Dad, you don't need to drink these canned products they have in the store that are full of who knows what for diabetics. This is a better option. And he drinks this shake and it's just so much better for him. And my dad is 90 years old. I don't know if I shared that, but he's 90. And I think this is just a great way for him to be flooding his body at his age with so many vital nutrients. And as you can see, look at all the great things you get here. You would not believe that these things are in the shake because it tastes so good. So this is one of my favorite things. I make protein balls, which my mom just put in a request for me to make her protein balls with the oats. I make chocolate peanut butter smoothies. It's just awesome. And I use it for breakfast too when I don't want to eat anything heavy. So this is how I'm bridging the gap now. Now I will admit I'm not a perfect eater, but this helps to keep me on track most of the time. So what it is that makes Juice Plus unique and different from just the average thing you would find in a GNC is that we're food. Juice Plus is actually food. It's not a multivitamin. When you look at the back of the label, it actually has a food label. And if you live in a state where you're not charged tax on food, you will not get taxed on Juice Plus. It's made with non-GMO ingredients, is vegan, is kosher, is dairy and gluten-free. And what really impressed me is that Juice Plus has been around for 25 years and it's always been this way. Like they had the forethought to make it with all these like specific, like these specificities, that's not a word, but anyway, you guys know what I'm saying. 25 years ago, like back when I first learned of this information, like gluten-free was a new thing. So they already were like way ahead of the curve. It's also NSF certified, which is a third party that has really like stringent rules, and they make sure that what's on the label is in the product and what's in the product is on the label. There's no banned substances. We have athletes and Olympians that use Juice Plus because of that certification. And it just, you can just like rest assured that it's very safe. There's no herbicides or pesticides in any of the produce that's being used in Juice Plus. And then it is also the most researched brand name nutritional product in the world. With right now, we have over 40 published clinical studies that are out there. And so here's a quick synopsis of some of those. So we don't claim to treat or cure specific conditions or diseases, but the research shows us a lot about what's happening in the body with Juice Plus. So here we see some of the hospitals and universities, and I mean, these are highly renowned hospitals and universities. I was just like amazed to see Yale University, University of Texas, MD Anderson, that conducted a study on cancer patients. There's studies that are conducted all around the world. You see Netherlands, Germany, England, Japan. It's just amazing to see how fruits and vegetables, guess what? They benefit everyone of every race and we all need them. So here are some of the summaries of what have been conducted. It supports and contributes to cardiovascular wellness. I don't know, but I was ignorant 9 years ago. I thought you received cardiovascular wellness from working out and doing cardio. I had no idea new food and plants could help you achieve better cardiovascular wellness. That's amazing. It supports healthy inflammatory response. It supports quality of life. And it's funny, this is so like vague, but the quality of life they're referring to is when they did a study with the cancer patients at Texas MD Anderson, that those patients actually had less mortality. These were people, they chose ovarian cancer patients because they knew they're more likely to get a reoccurrence of ovarian cancer. Well, the ones that were part of the study using Juice Plus actually had less reoccurrence and they had a better quality of life with that diagnosis, which is just, that's what we want to hear, right? It supports healthy cholesterol, LDL, and triglyceride metabolism. It supports healthy lung function. So one thing I learned, so I used to be an avid runner. I was in a running group. And I know before I was in that running group and before Juice Plus, when I used to get on the pavement, I used to be dying if I hadn't been out on the pavement for a while. And then I started taking Juice Plus, and then there came a time where I did take some months off the pavement. But when I got back on that pavement, I felt really good. And this study right here, which I was amazed to hear, it improves your lung capacity. So I got back out there feeling amazing because I had been flooding my body with that nutrition and that helped me in that way. So it was just cool to see that. Then it supports healthy skin and gums. You'll notice a lot of, I don't know if you know anyone in this community, but you'll see like glowing skin a lot of times. You'll just hear that we have that glow from the inside out. And then it also supports the immune system. Who doesn't want that? We all need to strengthen our immune systems. Helps to protect your DNA, reduces oxidative stress. So let me just clarify, oxidative stress is something that is gonna be the onset of a disease or illness. If you are reducing oxidative stress, you're helping to reduce the onset of illness or disease. So that's what you want in your body. And it is actually absorbed into your body. A lot of times the vitamins that you take are not absorbed, hence why you have bright yellow urine. So these are all the things you want to happen in your body. So I love this quote by Dr. Du Bois: there is nothing else available any place in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do. And so there's also a study that has been conducted on children, and it's called Our Healthy Starts for Families. My kids have been participants, and it's for children between the ages of 4 and 18, along with full-time college students. They can receive Juice Plus for 4 years for free if there's an adult taking it. We sponsor them to get Juice Plus for free, and they're part of our research study. There's been over 1 million children that have participated in this study so far. And look at the results. My kids are a testament to these results, where they're missing fewer days of school, taking fewer over-the-counter medications or prescription drugs, drinking more water, visiting the doctor less, consuming less fast food and soft drinks, and eating more fruits and vegetables. Who doesn't want that? I know I do, and I have experienced it, and I am so grateful and happy. And then here's another favorite thing of mine, the Tower Garden. Oh my gosh, if you're a Tower Garden owner, just raise your hand in here. So I've had my Tower Garden for 8 years, and it is incredible. It's like growing made easy, for sure. You can grow indoors with our Tower Garden Home, which is created to be grown indoors. It's a smaller version. It has grow lights. And then you can also grow outdoors with the Tower Garden Flex. And the beauty of this is that everything grows in 1/3 the time it would in soil. And there's no soil or dirt that you have to mess with. It produces more yield, and it uses less than 98% water, which who doesn't want to use less water? I'm in South Florida, guys. It takes a lot of water to water the lawn and all that stuff. So using less water is always beneficial, and it takes up less than 90% of space. And so just like everything else we have, they had to conduct a study. I love our company for this because it just backs up the facts, right? And they conducted a study at the University of Mississippi showing that a garden grown in soil versus growing in a tower, and these were the results. This is what they came up with. So if you're looking at a way to get some mental zen and grow your own food and feel that sense of accomplishment, because I know for me, it's a huge sense of accomplishment for me to grow my own food, because I don't feel like I'm that savvy to grow things, but I've been doing it for 8 years, and this makes it easy and it makes you look really good. I tell you, when you show people, look what I harvested, they're like, that's amazing. But the tower is like, it does the majority of the work, so it makes it easy. And then we have a program called the Shred 10, where if you are looking for a more stringent type of program, we lock arms with you for 10 days to shred some bad habits and food and toxins that are not serving you. And then after that, you're kind of in a maintenance mode where you're continuing that. And this is what happens. What you want to do is when you are trying to lose weight, you want to get rid of the toxins that are also in your body. And a lot of times people are doing different diets that are causing the toxins to remain in their system so that they rebound later. But with the Shred 10, you're ridding yourself of the toxins, which helps to keep you on track and in maintenance mode after, you're in maintenance mode, which is what you want. So if you are interested in that, definitely get back to the person who invited you to this event to learn more. And so how much does all of this cost? You're probably wondering. Well, I don't drink coffee, but I know it's cheaper than going to Starbucks to take Juice Plus. And so for $2.50 a day, you can be getting 30 fruits and vegetables into your diet. And then you can be getting it free for your kids, which is what I do. And then adding in $2.33 for our shakes, which are delicious and for me, are a meal replacement. And then $1 a day to add in some awesome omegas. Totally affordable. I've been doing it for 9 years. I started taking Juice Plus when I wasn't even working, and I saw the value in it, and it was that important to me that I added it into our budget, and I'm so glad I did and didn't turn back. And so there's a few things that you can do. You can either become just a Juice Plus customer if you are wanting to get started. or you can partner with us, because Lord knows we need help, guys. We are trying to spread this message far and wide, and right now there's just such a demand for this information. People are really looking for solutions, and I know I'm not being biased, but we have one of the best solutions out there for an easy way for people to get healthier. So if you are thinking of maybe sharing this information or thinking of who could you share this with, because that's what I did 9 years ago. I heard this information. I was just like, I had to tell people because I thought it was amazing. Just get back to the person who invited you on here, and it could be a way that you earn some extra income. So now I'm going to stop the share. And I am going to introduce Joy, my buddy in the business, and she's going to share her story, and then she's going to do a little Q&A. So if there's any questions, I haven't seen the chat yet, but if you have any questions for me, because I recently became a health coach, and I have just been getting slammed with questions from people from all over. And I said, you know what, if there's a way I can help to answer any questions on here, I would love to do that for some people. I don't know how to spotlight Joy. She's like, no, don't spotlight me. Okay, I won't spotlight you. But I will mute and have you share your story.
Okay, hello again, everyone. That was great, Michelle. Thank you for that amazing presentation. Very thorough, and I think I learned something new each time I hear the presentation. So I pick up a new tidbit of my own. So hi. So I'll just tell you my story really quick. I was introduced to this community through Michelle, and I had recently lost my mom to lung cancer. She was not a smoker. She didn't work in a factory or any of those common things that people suffer from lung cancer from. And it was the kind of lung cancer where they couldn't operate and all that kind of stuff. So she was given 18 months to live after her diagnosis. And so after dealing with all of that, I was really searching for answers. I don't know if any of you have had a person close to you pass away of a terminal illness, but it is not an easy thing to endure or watch. And I did not want my son to do that. I did not want history to repeat itself. So I was really trying to find a way to live a healthier life, to live a more vibrant life, and to live a longer life. My mom died in her late 60s. So to me, she was still kind of young. And I started exercising. I became a part of a run group. That's how I met Michelle. And she told me about, this way to get fruits and vegetables into your diet. I had started changing my diet, but the clincher for me was the Children's Health Study. That's what it was called at the time. My son was a multi-sport athlete that was getting ready to go into high school. And he did not like fruit. So I knew his body needed the nutrition if he was going to continue to excel the way that he wanted to. And so for the two for the price of one, it was a no-brainer for me. So we started, and he's still on the Juice Plus today. We're beyond the 4 years of him having it free, but he's now going into his junior year of college. He's a college athlete. He plays soccer. He takes his Juice Plus religiously. And as kids do when they get old and they think they know things, he did stop for a short period of time, saw the difference, and got back on it. He doesn't drink juice or soda, fast food, junk food, none of that, because for the past 5-6 years, he's been fueling his body with these fruits and vegetables. So that's what his body yearns for. And so, and for me, once I became a part of the run group, I went a little stir crazy, and I started trying to challenge myself to do new things. So I've done Spartan races. I decided to run my first half marathon. I've done a couple triathlons. And the difference between when I was tried to do those things before Juice Plus and after Juice Plus, completely different. I ran my first half marathon before I was on Juice Plus, and literally we were staying in a 2-story house. I had to crawl up the stairs because my joints ached so bad. Fast forward, a year and a half, 2 years later, with me being on the Juice Plus, and I did my triathlon, swim, bike, run. We went out to breakfast afterwards. I went to work the next day. No achiness in my joints or anything like that. And the only thing that was different was the nutrition. I had started on Juice Plus. So I won't ever give up my Juice Plus. I know what it's doing to my body. I know what it's doing for my son's body. And hopefully I've given him a good blueprint and he will continue with it as well the rest of his life. So that's my Juice Plus story. And one more thing I do want to share is this community. So, I started going to events and seeing the education that we were getting. The community itself is amazing, but then we also are educated by doctors and nurses and scientists, nutritionists, dietitians, are always coming into our community and teaching us more and teaching us the newest thing and different studies. And so I have learned so much in this community. And so with that, along with the community of amazing people that I've met, this community has given me a whole nother family that I never knew I wanted or needed. But like Michelle said, if we had not had this community during this COVID thing, I think my mental status would be a lot different. But we stayed connected. Our uplines were on Zooms 3-4 times a week, and it's just been, we've started doing, the virtual events, so we stay connected, and it's been amazing. So again, it's the nutrition, it's the education, and it's the community. And again, what I learned most when I was looking for something was it needed to be a lifestyle change. And so that's what I've done. I have, and my son, created a new lifestyle for us, a new healthy lifestyle that hopefully both of us will continue for as long as we both live, and which hopefully will extend us some years, but definitely has given us vitality. So I will let us get to questions from Michelle now.
Amen, sister. That was so good, Joy. Oh my goodness. I'm you on all those aspects for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Miss Michelle, what are some quarantine health tips you would give?
Quarantine health tips. This has been a common question I've been getting. For me, I think, like you mentioned, having a support group of like-minded people for sure is going to help with your mental state, with tips and tricks. I know there's just been so many things that we've been doing together as a community to stay healthy together, because you can fall into that rut really fast of eating the comfort food, getting real comfortable, not being as active because, they're saying stay inside. But having that community. Another thing is meal prep. Yesterday I was like, come on, Michelle, you got to get out of this snacking all the time. And I was like, I'm prepping some salads. So got my mason jars, prepped 6 salads, and that helps to keep you on track. Meal prep. And then I also like to meal prep like a big pot of soup. Sometimes I just do a pot of soup, have it just sitting ready. You can put them in mason jars if you want, or leave them in the pot, and just, when you want to eat on something a bit more savory, reach for that soup or that prepared meal that you've put out there. And then smoothies. Smoothies are always a hit. And I love there are smoothies. They taste to me like dessert. I really feel like I'm having dessert for breakfast. They're so good. So they really get to that sweet tooth you may have. And there's times where I mix mine with water and fruits and it's still just delicious. So smoothies, soups, salads, bam, meal prepping, and staying connected with like-minded people, that that's where it's at for sure.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And let's see. So the next question is, what are some health lessons to live by?
Health lessons to live by. One of the things that I like to advise people is making one change at a time. Don't try to overwhelm yourself with doing just too much, too much too fast. When you do too much too fast, then you just kind of like give up hope on everything because you're just like, oh, this is too much. I can't do it. But when you do one thing at a time and make that like more of a routine, then you can move on to the next thing and it not feel as overwhelming. So one thing at a time, just making one simple change is, I'm reading this book right now called Atomic Habits, and he talks about just making that 1% change. And you would just be amazed at how making one change, like over time, throughout a year, how much you can progress. It's been 9 years for me being part of this community. And I will say I have learned so much, over these 9 years because I just incorporated one thing at a time. My first change really was Juice Plus, but that was a catalyst for so many other things. And then my other thing would be teach others what you're learning. When you really want to become rock solid in what you know, when you teach others, you becoming the teacher forces you to know it even better. So when you are learning new information, share it with other people. Don't keep it to yourself because that's going to help you, stay on task, and it will become more embedded in your mind, those healthy habits or those things that you're learning.
Yes, thank you. So one simple change, which I tell a lot of people too, it's like, keep it simple,
Mm-hmm.
pick one thing that you want to start with, improve on that, and then move on to the next one. Yes. And then I love that, teaching others what you're learning, bringing people into your circle. That's great. So I don't think I saw any other questions in the chat. I think people were kind of just telling us, agreeing with you on a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm loving what Alicia said, that her two kids were both athletes.
Yes.
That's amazing. And
Yep.
that's what she fueled their bodies with Juice Plus. I love that.
Yep. Amazing recovery and injury
Mhm.
prevention. Yes. Their bodies are very strong. Yes. I agree. My son has a very strong body.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
His calves are like, he's a real soccer player. I feel like I'm gonna see him playing for the nationals or international. He's an amazing athlete. Tarnisha, I'm so glad you're on tonight because you're like, we all fall into ruts. So don't worry, you're connected. We're gonna lock arms with you. You're our buddy. So we're getting you back on track. Joy, she was asking, are you guys still running? And I was like, Joy's running almost every day. So you're fine and running, buddy. Don't worry. And Lynette,
yeah.
you're right. Meal prep is so important, especially when you're home, so that you're not doing
Mm-hmm.
the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, it was great being able to do this with you ladies and share this information. And if anyone on here who's just a guest and is hearing this for the first time, definitely get back to the person who invited you tonight. I know they're so excited to share with you because a lot of us on here are just so passionate about helping others get healthier, whether it's through what we share in education or through Juice Plus or the Tower Garden. Just make a simple change. It will make such a difference. So thank you for being a part of our event tonight. Let me turn off the recording.